Hey, what's up YouTube? This is Youthman. In today's video, I'll be providing a full review of Anthem's flagship 11.2 channel receiver, the mighty MRX 1120. Now in this video, we'll be looking at its specs, features, an overview of setting up ARC, and of course, I'll share my thoughts on my overall experience with it. But before we continue, if you're into home theater, audio, and video, hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you'll be notified when the next video drops. Now, I've been using the Anthem MRX 1120 over the past few months in my theater, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. In my home theater, I have it powering 3 Klipsch Scalas, 4 Klipsch RS62 version 2 surrounds, 4 Klipsch CDT 5800C version 2 in-ceiling Atmos speakers, as well as dual SVS PB16 Ultra subwoofers. Now my Klipsch speakers are extremely efficient, so the 1120 had no problems whatsoever powering the entire 7.2.4 channel system to reference levels and beyond without the need for an external amp. The MRX 1120 is a beautifully designed and crafted receiver that has a ton of features. Some of these features include decoding for Dolby Atmos and DTS:X, 11 channels of amplification at 140 watts per channel, 8 HDMI inputs, 7 on the rear, 1 on the front, and all of which are HDMI 2.0, 2 HDMI outputs, HDCP 2.2 compliant, support for HDR and Dolby Vision, DTS Play-Fi for wireless streaming, Anthem Room Correction or ARC, which is Anthem's proprietary room correction software. The MRX 1120 includes an ARC kit, which contains a professionally calibrated ARC microphone, a sturdy mic stand as opposed to the typical rocket ship mic stand that a lot of others tend to include, and all the necessary cables that you'll need for calibration. You'll need a PC or a mobile device for ARC. Now Anthem recommends using a PC as you'll have much more capabilities, and the ARC mic is far superior to the mic in your cell phone or your tablet. But if you don't have a PC, the app is certainly available on both iOS and Android devices. Now I found setting up ARC is quite a bit different than using, say, Odyssey or some of the other room correction softwares that are out there, and not nearly as intuitive. So let's walk through just a brief overview of the process. You'll need to go to Anthem's website, click on Support, go down to Software and Firmware Updates, scroll down to Anthem Room Correction 2, and key in the serial number for your microphone, which can be found either on the outside of your ARC kit or on the microphone itself. Now once you've downloaded and installed the software, choose Automatic Mode and hit Finish. Now if you haven't already done so, you'll need to connect to your wireless network by going into the Setup menu on the 1120, going down to Network Remote Control, clicking on Wireless Setup, and then Manual Setup. Now this wireless connection will allow you to transfer the settings from the ARC software on the computer to the MRX 1120 wirelessly after your calibration is complete. You'll then place your ARC microphone and stand in your primary listening position with the microphone facing upwards and at ear level. Connect the supplied USB cable from your mic to your computer, and now we can continue with ARC by hitting the Start. Once you start the software, you'll need to navigate to the mic calibration file that you downloaded from the Anthem website. It will be the file that ends in .cal. Here you can select how many speakers that you have in your setup and where your height speakers are located. Now I would have liked to see this a bit more intuitive here, as it's a bit confusing as to what is a back amp or a main back. Also, the graphics and interface could definitely use an update to make it look a little bit more modern. For height 1 and 2, you have various options to choose from depending on how you have your speakers set up. Since I have 4 in-ceiling Atmos speakers, I chose front in-ceiling and back in-ceiling. On the left, you can uncheck any speakers that you do not have in your setup, and down at the bottom you can select between 5 up to 10 microphone locations that you want to measure from. Now I chose 5 for my testing, and then I clicked OK. Anthem recommends placing the mic in positions that are at least 2 feet apart. ARC will take measurements from each speaker and prompt you to move the microphone to each new location. I placed the microphone in each of my front 3 seats for positions 1, 2, and 3, and then in between my front and rear seats for position 5 and 6. After the calibration process, ARC will upload those settings to the MRX 1120. Now this was my first time using ARC, so it definitely was a lot different than what my experience has been with, say, Odyssey on other brands. But I can definitely see the power and the flexibility with ARC. It's just definitely going to have a lot higher learning curve. So what are the pros of the MRX 1120? It has incredible build quality. It's beautifully crafted, it looks gorgeous, and it's built like a tank. As far as sound, beautiful clarity, detail, channel separation was really good, especially for Dolby Atmos movies, as well as when I was listening to music. And speaking of music, I put on Michael Jackson's This Is It Blu-ray, and the Anthem MRX 1120 brought a huge smile to my face. Instruments were very natural sounding, but they were super distinct. Drums sounded incredible. This is a great unit, not only for home theater, but also for music. The 1120 comes with a nicely configured backlit remote, which allows you to easily access the buttons even in the dark. The ARC is extremely flexible and powerful, and it allows up to 4 custom ARC profiles. Now these profiles can be used for different configurations in your room. Maybe you have a screen that comes down in front of a TV, and so you want to set one profile for that room calibrated with the screen down, and maybe another profile when the screen is up. Now I also thought it was cool that the ARC provides a PDF report showing your in-room audio performance. That PDF report contains graphs for each channel showing the uncorrected in-room response, uncorrected plus bass management, your target, as well as corrected plus bass management. Now this is really great because you can actually see what's going on in your room and see where the trouble areas are and how well Anthem was able to correct those trouble areas, whether they were peaks in the room or nulls. The sound quality on the 1120 was really beautiful. ARC does a fantastic job at balancing all of your channels and giving you a fully immersive sound. Now one thing I want to also mention is Anthem's tech support was incredible to work with. Since this was my first time using ARC and using an Anthem product, I had some questions on that process, as well as some tweaking I wanted to do with the ARC software. When I contacted the tech support, they asked me to send them the calibration file that ARC saves. And I was able to send them the file. They were able to review it, make some tweaks on their end, send a revised version of that file to me, and then I could open up that file, upload that into the MRX 1120, and I would have the changes that they made on their end. Now that's a pretty slick feature because this means you can go in and create as many of those changes that you want, save that as a file, and try different configurations in your room. And anytime you want to go to that, you would just open up your computer, open up that calibration file, upload that into the MRX 1120, and you've now got those settings inside the MRX 1120. Pretty slick feature there. All right, so Michael, what are the cons of the MRX 1120? Well, I'm glad you asked. Really, I didn't find a whole lot that I did not like about this unit. It's truly a phenomenal piece, but if we're gonna nitpick, let's find a couple things that I did not like about the unit. One con I found is that it does not support AirPlay. Now, AirPlay is kind of an Apple proprietary software that allows you to stream data from your phone through your system. And so I use this feature a lot when I'm streaming, say, Spotify from my iPhone through my home theater, or if I want to play a YouTube video from my phone through my theater. Not a huge deal breaker, but you just need to know that this does not support AirPlay. As I mentioned before, ARC is definitely not as user-friendly as other room correction software, and it does have a learning curve. With that said, it offers a whole lot more features and a whole lot more flexibility than the other software, so there is a trade-off there. It just depends on what's important to you. Another negative is it does not support Oro 3D. And so those of you that really like that format, you're not going to be able to get that, at least now with this current version. And the last con that I found with the 1120 is the price tag. Now this definitely does not come in as a budget receiver, as it retails for $3,500. But I believe for the features that you get, and especially the flexibility and the power that you get with ARC, it's definitely worth the $3,500 if you're looking for a receiver that can give you those features. So who is the Anthem MRX 1120 for? I believe the 1120 is great for the home theater enthusiast, or maybe the audiophile that wants incredible sound with a top tier room correction software with a ton of flexibility. And if you're looking for just a one and done receiver, this thing has just about everything, especially considering it has 11 channels of amplification and processing, so you don't necessarily have to have an external amplifier to run your complete setup. If you're a tweaker, I think you're going to love the flexibility that ARC offers, especially given the fact that you can have different custom profiles. You can save the actual ARC calibration file and open up different ones so you can try different settings. Now, one thing you can do with the 1120 is create different custom unique inputs. And basically where this comes into play is you can create a virtual input just like you would have a Blu-ray input or maybe a cable input. You could create an input and call it 2-channel and have it set to use a profile that does not use all of your surround sound speakers, but maybe only has 2 speakers and your subwoofer. Now this is really handy to easily switch between different configurations depending on what content you're watching or listening to. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it's been informative for you into the world of Anthem as well as the 1120. Now, if you have experience with Anthem products or ARC and you want to share some tips and tricks with other viewers, I'd love for you to drop those down in the comments below. And if you're interested in purchasing the 1120, I'll provide a link for it down in the description below. Well guys, that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Be sure to share it on your social media platforms. And as always, you guys be blessed, and we'll catch you in the next video.